If you're a federal employee planning to retire before 62, there are two separate ways you could lose part of your FERS supplement, and almost nobody warns you until it's already happened. The first is a paycheck problem. In 2026, earn more than $24,480 a year after you retire, and OPM cuts your supplement by $1 for every $2 over that line, straight from OPM's own handbook. The second is a Capitol Hill problem. In 2025, the House actually passed a bill to eliminate the supplement for future retirees. It got stripped out before becoming law, but it could resurface. Let's break down both in plain language. Nobody sits federal employees down before retirement and explains what happens to this money. OPM sends you a survey once you're already collecting it, not a warning beforehand. And the legislative risk almost never makes it into a retirement seminar because it's buried in budget language most people never read. Quick foundation. FERS retirement is built on three legs: your pension, your TSP, and Social Security. But Social Security doesn't start until 62, and plenty of federal employees retire well before that, sometimes in their 50s. That gap is exactly why the FERS supplement exists. It stands in for the Social Security check you haven't reached yet, so your income doesn't drop off a cliff the moment you leave federal service. Who actually gets it? You qualify if you retire on an immediate, unreduced annuity before 62. Three paths: reach your minimum retirement age, your MRA, with at least 30 years of service, retire at 60 with 20 years, or retire under a special category: law enforcement, firefighter, air traffic controller, under their own provisions. If you're in one of those groups, OPM pays this automatically alongside your pension. No separate application needed. That's the setup. Now, what can go wrong? Let's start with the paycheck risk, the one you actually control. Once you reach your MRA, OPM applies an earnings test to your supplement. It's the same test Social Security uses for early claimants who keep working. For 2026, the exempt amount is $24,480 a year. Earn more than that from wages or self-employment, and OPM reduces your supplement by $1 for every $2 over the limit. Only earned income counts toward that number. Your pension doesn't count. Your TSP withdrawals don't count. Investment income, interest, dividends, rental income, Social Security itself, none of it counts. Just wages and net self-employment earnings, the kind you'd actually pay FICA tax on. Simple test to run in your head. If Social Security or self-employment tax would apply to that income, it almost certainly counts here too. Here's the part almost nobody explains. OPM doesn't dock your check the moment you go over. Each year, they mail you an annuity supplement earnings report, asking what you earned the prior calendar year. If you exceeded the limit, the reduction doesn't hit until the following July, more than a year after you actually earn the money. Income you earn in 2026 shows up as a smaller check in July of 2027. By then, most people have forgotten which year caused it. And once that window passes, there's no undoing it. The reduction is locked in for good. Two quick examples, because the math changes a lot depending on how far over you go. Say your supplement is $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year, and you earn $30,000 in 2026. That's $5,520 over the limit. OPM cuts your supplement by half that excess, $2,760 for the year, or $230 a month. Your check drops to about $770. Bigger gap, a $950 supplement, $34,480 earned in consulting work. You're $10,000 over. Half of that is $5,000 a year, about $417 a month. Your $950 supplement drops to roughly $533. Two very different outcomes, depending entirely on how much you take on above that line, which is exactly why checking this number belongs before you accept the job, not after. This test doesn't apply to everyone the same way. Special category retirees, law enforcement, firefighters, air traffic controllers, are exempt from the earnings test entirely until they reach their MRA. A firefighter who retires at 51 with 22 years can build a full second career, earn as much as they want, completely untouched, until their MRA hits in their mid to late 50s. Cross that line, and the same test applies to them as everyone else. And no matter your category, the supplement stops automatically the month before you turn 62, regardless of what you're earning, because that's when real Social Security eligibility begins, and the supplement's whole job was bridging you to that point. One more group worth flagging because this one trips people up badly. Disability retirees and MRA plus 10 retirees generally don't receive this supplement at all. It's not that they skip the earnings test, they simply don't qualify because neither counts as an immediate, unreduced retirement. Don't build your bridge to 62 budget around a check that isn't coming. And OPM isn't relying on the honor system either. They cross check your earnings report against your actual Social Security record. Underreport and get caught later, and you could owe the difference back in a lump sum, a far worse outcome than a simple monthly adjustment. Now, here's the twist. Everything above, you can plan around, you control your own earnings. But there's a second risk that has nothing to do with your paycheck, and you have far less control over it. This already happened once. In May 2025, the House passed a budget reconciliation bill that would have eliminated the FERS supplement entirely for employees who hadn't yet started receiving it. Some versions made it effective immediately, others floated cutoffs as late as 2028. Current retirees and anyone who'd already locked in eligibility would have kept their supplement. Law enforcement and air traffic controllers separated under mandatory retirement were generally carved out. That provision got dropped before the bill became law. Federal employee unions pushed back, and it didn't survive the Senate. But it cleared one full chamber of Congress. This isn't a fringe idea, it's a recurring budget target. If you're 45 now, planning to retire at 56 with 30 years of service, you're banking on this supplement bridging you from 56 to 62. If a future bill changes the rules for anyone retiring after some cutoff, and your timeline lands on the wrong side of it, your whole retirement math shifts. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to build in a plan B. On the earnings side, know your $24,480 threshold before accepting post-retirement work. Remember the reduction lands more than a year late, and confirm whether your category exempts you until your MRA. And if you're eyeing disability or MRA plus 10, confirm you're actually eligible for a supplement before you count on one. On the legislative side, you can't control what Congress proposes, but after 2025, you can't assume this benefit is untouchable either. Check your MRA and category, run the numbers before you say yes to a job, not after, and keep half an eye on federal budget news each session. Every year you don't check this before taking extra work is a year you could lose part of a benefit meant to help you. And every budget cycle you're not watching is one where the rules could shift without notice. I'm not a financial advisor. I research the rules and tell you exactly where they come from.